hope we do. Ah, there we go. Hey, we're live. What up, y'all? So I'm just gonna kick this right off with, this is not my everyday job. I am not gonna be good at this. Hot Rod's gonna sound and look better than me, so you can, leave it to him to make it more entertaining. But I'm happy to be here. Hot Rod.
I sound great. I looked better back in the T2 days, but here we are, man. I'm excited as well. Super pumped just to have a chat with you. Super pumped to talk about tribes. My dog's going crazy in the background. He's going to be part of the broadcast too, but everybody, I hope you enjoy.
Yeah, we'll have guest appearances from not only Blitz, Hybrid, and Solstice, but also my cats. Oh, I'm not going to leave you hanging. Cheers, bro.
Thank you, sir.
So I wasn't planning on having a little sip, but Hot Rod convinced me by having a sip. He didn't even say anything. He didn't have to say anything. All right, so why are we here? What are we doing? Well, I'm going to make it very clear. There really isn't anything that's super special about this. Maybe I amped this up to be this crazy awesome thing, but the truth is I just miss the tribes community. And when I had Tribes 3 in my hands and I'm getting reacquainted by everybody, such as Hot Rod, or just, I'm not even gonna drop names because there's just so many people I can leave out and I don't want people to get mad. But it felt really good. I felt like I was back at home, and I loved my time with the tribes community. And here we are 12 years later from when Tribes Ascend came out or something like that. And so what I figured was, let's just have some fun. Like, I've been having fun in Discord servers and channels, bantering with people. Let's bring it live. Let's share the wealth, right? So Hot Rod, I thought you were awesome to have on the show for this.
Yeah, this is like 2 months ago, I wouldn't have dreamt that we would be here talking about, okay, on the eve of another Tribes game, which they are calling Tribes 3, right? Like, I remember the exact
Bold
day
statement.
when I got a message in Discord saying that this might be happening. And then at every day, it seemed like it became more and more real, to the point where we're then testing a game that looks and is Tribes, and it's a new Tribes. It's crazy. So I think it's pretty special. I thought this day would never come. I thought that the genre was over. I thought nobody would attempt it again, outside of like the small group of guys that have done some of the smaller FPSZ games, are trying to harness some of the nostalgia. But to be here with a game that we have all pretty much tested, that's viewing right now, it's amazing. I'm so happy, dude.
Yep, it's awesome. So cheers to all of you, those who have attended, those that aren't here. Cheers to Tribes. I mean, 1998. I was in middle school at best with 56K, a computer that barely had a graphics card, to where I am now in life is just a wild ride. And I have literally Tribes to thank for a lot of what I have today. The reason why I got a job in the games industry in the first place is because of Tribes. So just cheers to that too. What I want to really go through today, so it's going to be casual. We're going to have some fun, but I do want to have a little bit of like some of an agenda for us to at least follow. So here's the deal. As you can see, we have a couple people joining us. First, we'll bring in Solstice. If you haven't met him, you need to, and you're going to. It is our Tribes 3. He is our Tribes 3 community manager. I heard we might get some teases too, which was not expected until 5 minutes before we started the show. So hell yeah. Solstice is newer to the community, but has been just so resourceful for me and the community. I hope you guys seen that, and if you haven't, you will. I have Hybrid coming in. Jim, I don't know if you know him more than Hybrid and Jim. I think Jim is probably more of a known name for him at this point. But he'll be here to talk about a few things. We have Blitz coming on, which I've had a very close relationship from the days we competed together and all the years of Tribes. And then I want to think about bringing some of you guys on here. I'm going to be selective on who I bring on here, because I know some people would go off the road and off the rails of where I want to take this, but I just want to be chill. I want to have fun. I want to remain more positive, but you could critique stuff. And I talk about things like maps, physics, weapons, armors, like what we saw so far in playtest, which will obviously change next time we play. So let's not go too far in like balance, because it's not going to be the same. But I just want to talk about it and hear people's thoughts. You like that?
Yeah,
Is that
I think
okay?
great plan. Let's talk to everybody. Let's, what I didn't even know with you, like what we're going to be able to tease. But dude, let's just hang out. Let's just talk about our experiences playing the game, what we hope the game's going to bring us, and just kind of keep this spark alive, which has been the Tribes reunion of the past couple of weeks.
Amen. So I set myself 5 minutes for intros. We are at the 5-minute mark. Fucking crushing it already with the plan. So without further ado, if we could bring in Solstice here, I'd love to have him here. There he is. This is my first time seeing Solstice on cam. Yes.
Yeah. Same. How's it going?
What's going on, guys?
Yeah, good to have you.
It's what, Tuesday night? It's Monday night? I don't know what day it is. What's going on? It's nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So, look, I know a lot of people don't know you. I'm going to give you a chance to just introduce yourself in the best possible way, like where you came from, what you are doing today, what excites you, what maybe doesn't excite you. I don't know. Talk whatever you want. I want to hear a little bit about you. I'm going to learn something here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I guess if I were to say where I came from, TLDRs, I came from here. I came from Twitch. That's what I originally did when I met my previous employer, my boss. And long story short, wound up going across the country, wound up working at his studio as the community manager. And then alas, here I am. That's
awesome.
That's the TLDR, right? I could go deep into it, but it goes on.
Well, I'm going to ask a couple more questions because, again, I'm going to learn some things about you. You're part of the family now, whether you like it or not. You're going to have to learn learn about some of the personalities. Yeah, there's some personalities out there that, you got to get to know. There's one thing that you need to know, and I think you've maybe learned this or not, but you can clip this. ACD is not on top, all right? Just make that clear from the start.
Tao is on top.
I've been learning the culture over time. The Tribes culture.
Look, Solstice, I'll give you the history lesson, and you will there's only one answer to this. It is Tao on top. Thank you, chat. All right. If you need any of the history or anything, I will take you down that rabbit hole. There's many of us where all we do is go through. I've been invited to about 7 or 8 Discords over the past week or so, and in each one of them, there's a little nostalgia channel that's been, and it's just filled with Tao on top, VODs, Tao on top, highlight videos, Tao on top, music videos. It's all over, but it's not even up for discussion. So the ACD kids that I guess are now old enough to where they feel brave enough to talk in the Discord and maybe send you a couple of DMs, they can pipe down. All right, Tao's on top. That's how it's going to be. It's how it's going to be for life.
Yeah, man. I mean, sounds like Tao is a cultural phenomenon. So
that's right. All right, you're learning.
You can't beat that.
It's a cult.
I mean, this whole segment was to make this very clear. So thanks for coming. We appreciate your time. So again, I want a little bit about you. Like, what games were you playing when you were streaming? What has been your taste of Tribes? Like, I want to hear that.
Oh, this will be fun. I'm sure. I'm sure this community, from what I've seen, will love this. The game that I wound up growing on Twitch with was Genshin Impact anime. Yep. I know everyone's gonna love that. I
love that.
I played that for a hot minute. Hey man, I appreciate that. I played that for a hot minute. Before that, I played Destiny 2 for a while. Before that, when I first started streaming, I was playing this game called Dauntless. It's like a free-to-play Monster Hunter, sort of Fortnite-looking cartoony game.
Okay.
But yeah, those are the games that I wound up at least growing and getting partnered on the platform with. And then since then, I mean, I haven't really streamed since I wound up moving across the country, right? And starting this career path. I've done it a few times, but, not full-time by any means. I kind of capitalized on, the pandemic and having all that free time and just kind of trying to snowball that into something. And, I'm happy to say I feel like I've done it. Sitting here today. I'm super proud to be in this position.
Yeah, and you should be. It's a position I held, 12, 13 years ago. I actually
did a great job at it, by the way.
I still got high-res APC hanging out on me with all these different badges.
Dude, I love that. Yeah.
But I mean, look, one thing that we're all trying to do with Tribes 3 as a community is how do we, still have Tribes in our life, but also we all know Tribes deserves more of the spotlight. We want to bring more of the new people in. Like, we know that's something that's a huge hurdle that we need to jump. And as we grew older in age, maybe we're more acceptable to it than we were before in our sweaty tryhard days. I still want my sweaty tryhard tribes, don't get me wrong, but I also want to see a nice, fun, casual audience.
It's been really interesting to see, I see people talking about tribes, and there's the one side of people being like, okay, we're traveling back to the early to mid 2000s with the Quake Unreal Tournament style of like, jumping around, all these midair shots, super Mach 10 movement. But then I've seen a lot of people kind of be like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of the way shooters are nowadays, because everything has kind of been the same or similar, right? You've got like tactical shooters and then you've got movement shooters, but nothing really touches like the movement of tribes and that kind of gameplay. So I've seen a lot of people, maybe it's nostalgia factor, right? But a lot of people seem excited to kind of jump back into that kind of style of play, which makes me excited.
It's what is old is new again. It is refreshing, right? And I think that the game has done a good job at showing that. And to your point, I think that now the infrastructure surrounding gaming, with Twitch growing and streamers actually gaining so much popularity, it has the opportunity to actually reach and put many eyes on tribes and why it is actually unique. The game became popular before any of that existed. I remember listening to shoutcasts of matches, right, where we just have a commentator telling us what's happening with the flag or what Team X is doing or Team Y is doing to counter that. And then when Tribes Ascend, bust onto the scene, that was very early days in Twitch, right? It's grown by 10x since then. And Tribes Ascend also didn't have some of the you didn't have many streamers, shout out Anarchy, but you also didn't really have any spectator modes that were really good at harnessing kind of the competitiveness of what Tribes is. So every match that we saw from a sky cam, right, which made it a little tough. I see Dodgepong in chat. Dodgepong did what he could to help produce some of those matches, right? And get us a first person perspective. But we even had metrics back in the day when you would stream Tribes in first person, everybody would come into chat and say, what is this? What is this game? I've got to play this game. And now we actually, we have so many viewers and so many kids that have grown up on Fortnite that haven't seen something like this that I think we could really bring into the fold.
Yeah, I mean, speaking as a new player to the whole the whole franchise, right? Even growing up, I was super young when any of the kind of arena shooters or fast-paced shooters were popular. So I wound up playing games like Counter-Strike, Valorant, Call of Duty on console. Like that's a lot of my shooting experience. So, I was pretty shit jumping into Tribes. I'm like, all right, I can't hit anyone with anything. I see the honor fuser. I'm like, how does anyone think this thing is good? I can't hit a single shot ever. And then I watch actual, people who are.
You hit your first MA recently, didn't you?
I did in one of our recent internal playtests. It was magnificent.
How did it felt good?
Yeah, it felt fantastic. And then I swapped to the chain gun and then felt like a noob again, but I was killing everyone. So, but
that's awesome. Though.
Yeah,
I was happy for you when you brought that up. I was like, that's one of the hooks, right? Once you get that satisfying kill or you get that high speed grab or something, there's like these little hooks that say, "I get it," or "I'm in,"
it was a fat dopamine hit. It was fantastic. And I want more of it. I'm never gonna get it, but I want more. I am. Call me the heavy capper. I'm gonna chase them all down, dude. I'll have the chain gun out. I'm going in. But yeah, so, I've been having more and more fun as we keep play testing, internally, externally. It's fun. It's a learning curve, right? Which is something we've discussed, but.
I'm seeing a lot of new people like you have the same reaction, and that's what I look forward to the most, right? Well, getting back together with the Tribes crew is my favorite part, like I said from the very beginning. But seeing friends, like I have a guy I work with, never played, maybe heard of Tribes, never played Tribes. I see him in the last couple play tests, and he is medium shield pack, double dish jump, hitting MA. I'm like, I didn't even have to tell you this. Like, you figured it out on your own. I'm like, this might be proof that people are enjoying the game that have never touched it before. It's proof that people can learn it without being taught, and maybe the game how it's being built is allowing for that. I don't know. I'm very hopeful, and maybe I'm more on the optimistic side than most, but that's just me in nature.
Yeah,
what we were saying,
absolutely.
like I felt like games like Apex was kind of like a drug in the tribes, where you could slide down hills and people are like, I love this movement, this is great. I'm like, oh man, if you love this, get a load of tribes. But there was never a tribe
like...
to hand them, right? So now I can be like, hey, remember when you played Apex with me? Try this. And I'm hoping that works just fine.
Apex, you can go down super fast, but if you hit a slope in Apex, you're not gonna rocket into the sky.
No. So I'm curious now. I want to get into the good stuff right off the bat, right? Like, and that's not hybrid or blitz, right? Like,
let's make something clear.
What do you have for us? And I wonder if production's able to pull it up, because again, this came to us 5 minutes before the show, and it's like, well, I hope we can make this work. So I'm crossing my fingers that we can. But if you have something to share with us, I'm going to shut up and let you talk.
Yeah. So. Something that us at Prophecy would love to share with the community, especially during a special occasion like this. This is the first of many podcasts. I can't wait to see more of these and potentially be featured in more. We would like to share some of our art side in terms of models and updated models, and kind of a then and now of what we're thinking, including some weapon skins. So,
okay,
if you take a look at the screen.
Oh shit!
We have the spin fuser.
Shit.
Oh.
Updated model and all, baby. But yeah.
Oh, okay. So here, I'm gonna give you the first glance. I'm just seeing this for the first time. So this looks like the Tribe's 2 spin fuser, but like modernized. It like the chamber is like Tribes 2 style, but it looks like it has more of a modern look. Or futuristic look, more futuristic than Tribes. And then these are skins. Are these like the monetized skins that we're talking about? Like you can buy these, or you can. Okay, I'm asking too many questions. That's my first reaction, though. Is how do I get?
I'm giving you the sneak peek.
Okay.
I can't tell you that right now, but I can tell you.
Okay.
There are skins, and there they are. And actually, we have one more image that shows kind of a then and now compared to Ascend and our modern kind of updated model for the spin fuser. Here we are. Yeah, you can definitely see.
Oh,
it's
that's pretty clean.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love like it maintains like the nostalgia pieces, like the tip and the color and like the form of the tip of the spin fuser that everybody that's played, that's going to make all the veterans happy, right? But then I mean, it looks like you strap the rocket to the back of it, right? And then we're firing frisbees that explode. It's exactly what it looks like. And the new colors that you pulled up a few minutes ago, yeah, I mean, that's just a breath of fresh air as well. Like something that's that hot rod red. Come on.
Hey, it's a look at things to come, right? There's plenty more where those came from, and it's it gets me super excited, right? I don't develop these things. I'm not on the art team, but it's super exciting for me to be able to share that with you guys, and hopefully get you excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it turns some gears of people of like what the possibilities are. We're just looking at one skin for one weapon. Well, I guess 3 skins, and then what it's been modernized to. But like just thinking about what else can we skin in the game? Yeah, for sure, other weapons, but armors, jets, flags, capes. Like there's just so many different things that we're in the playtest that say we can actually do these things that we've never done in Tribes before, which is weird. It seems obvious. Why don't you have weapon skins? Why don't you have all these different opportunities to skin your flags or whatever? I'm assuming on that, but like having this taste right now is going to start turning those gears. I'm also noticing really quick, and maybe I'm just overanalyzing it, but Tribes 3 in Roman numerals instead of the number 3. Someone, are we having a rebrand?
Hey,
I doubt it.
No words from me on that. You know what I'm saying?
Where are we going here with this, Apcizzle?
I don't know. I just see Ascend, but then again, Ascend is written in a different way than Ascend, but I'm overanalyzing pictures here, maybe.
I want to dive deep into that. I love like let's put on.
I'm not putting one on the bus like this.
Hey, you guys can presume whatever you like.
How about
right?
this? Let's go with this one. What have we seen that map that these are on? Is that the new map? What about that? Are we trying to leak a new map here too? Is this a new grass texture?
You ask too much. You ask too much. You see grass and you say new map. You guys have played on a map with grass.
The side of that spin fuser, maybe? Like I see spin fuser written on it, but can I etch my name into it? Is there a gun buddy? You know, I got to take a deeper look at this later.
Oh yeah, rally for gun buddies. Let's go. We can start the Riot gun buddy social media fad where everyone's like, I need the prophecy gun buddy.
You don't want that.
Anyone at prophecy.
Dude,
no, you certainly
Riot
don't want that, dude. I feel
to.
bad for every Riot dev. Every single one. I feel so bad, dude.
I do want a little bit. I want a little
all
like
of their DMs on every platform is like, yo, can I get this League of Legends thing, or can I get this Valorant thing? Like, can you send it to me? It's
yeah, I'm sorry.
I feel for them.
I hope you don't sign yourself up for that, but it could be hype, you know, in its own way.
we need Bioderm gun buddies for sure.
We need bioderms, period. First off, let's be clear.
Oh gosh, I should have started there. I've failed Chad already. I'm supposed to pressure this guy. You know, we invited him onto the show, trying to be nice to him. He's never going to come again, right? If we already screwed the pooch, can we just? When are we playing again? Solstice, when's the next playtest? What's going on?
You guys are gonna go back to the Discord. You're not gonna see me on the roll list anymore. Just gonna disappear.
No, this is great,
the next
dude.
playtest is, but you know, rest assured, when I'm ready to announce when that is, I will shout it from the mountaintop. You will all know. At everyone.
You're gonna shout it out when I'm on my honeymoon, and I'm gonna be pissed off.
That's perfect timing for us. We need other people. Yeah. All of these veterans need to take a break, all right, and let some of the new talent and the old talent that doesn't have a lot of time get better at this game, all right? So when he's on his honeymoon,
you gotta
great
let
time.
me get out there. I can't get shit on by everyone, right?
I know we don't have you for all night, and I would like to have you for all night, but I do have some other questions and things that I would like to get to that maybe you could provide some insight on. And I'm trying to do a little help us help you kind of thing. There's been so much feedback that you all have gotten over the past couple of weeks around the game and how to make changes. I've seen people write essays, and I saw some threads go to over 500 comments. I wanted to ask you kind of a couple of questions around the feedback. One, how are you guys actually taking the feedback, ingesting it, sifting through all of that, all of the noise or anything like that, to figure out what is actually meaningful and is of substance for you guys to use? And then how kind of are decisions made? Do you look at the feedback? Do you take into the account the person who left the feedback, of their history on tribes or whatever? Are you looking at data on the back end to try to make decisions on how to change the game, or how to balance weapons or things like that? If you could shed anything there, I think the whole community would be grateful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, I can't speak too much to that, as that's, you know, my part of that process a lot of the times is kind of helping to digest feedback from the community and gather things so that it can then be analyzed, right? But I will say, you know, kind of the short answer to that, and, you know, it's kind of a long answer too, is our design team, shout out to them. They're amazing. Those guys, like, read through everything. They have such a pulse, and I appreciate it tremendously. They have such a pulse on kind of what the community is thinking, and they are very in tune with who's saying what, you know, what games they're coming from for context. You know, the roles in the Discord help a ton with that. But yeah, those guys just scour through feedback and try and, you know, best take everything and compile that into meaningful change, right? Obviously, not everything that's suggested will make it through. But, you know, that's a hard job, man. When I think about taking all of that and having to balance and, you know, make changes, oh my Lord.
I can't keep up with it, and I'm like, you know, I'm doing it in my spare time and all that. Like, I can only imagine, like, people who are developing the game being able to do that articulately and take, you know, maybe I guarantee you people are trolling. There's people that are saying things that are just maybe over the top and everything in between. So props to the team on that, and like, just keep us honest as a community. Like, if you feel like there's a better way of doing it, or there is a way that we're doing it right, just let us know. I'm sure a lot of us want to make sure we're doing it the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. And with each playtest, you'll see changes made, and that's even more feedback, and hopefully it goes in a trend that makes one of the things about tribes that I didn't understand that I'm starting to is you name all these different titles, right? It's not just tribes, like whether they're from any of the, how many are there? 5+, including fan made titles, and that's a hugely diverse group, and obviously not every title is the same, and everyone wants things if that's their favorite title and they want things from that one, and amalgamating everything is difficult, and as at the end of the day there's always going to be someone who's unhappy, and it just comes down to how do you reasonably please the most people, and it's tough.
I knew that, APC and we see that as well. And even amongst our own discussion, we kind of try to keep each other on level heads and say, it's okay. It doesn't have to be the same game that we fell in love with 20 years ago, right? It's going to be fine, guys. Mm-hmm. They're going to make something good. And I would say like most of the community and some of the comments and threads on feedback that you've gotten have certainly come with a bit of a harsher tone. On behalf of the community, which I feel like I can speak for, right? That's just passion. Don't worry about it. We're just passionate. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's okay. It's all good. It's nobody's toxic here. We're great.
I haven't seen any toxicity.
Manager of an amazing group of gentlemen, very stand-up fellows, ladies and gentlemen. We're great. We're amazing. We love each other, and nobody's out here trying to give you a hard time or make your life more difficult. So thank you for doing what you do and doing the job. And just, I think the underlying message around everybody's feedback and why people write essays is we're just excited that we're even here, man. It's crazy. It's crazy that we are talking about a new Tribes game. Something that I never thought, I thought this is not ever going to happen. And we've already played it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Hell's yeah, man. Yeah, here we are. No, and the whole community, shout out to the community. You guys, your excitement is contagious. It gets me excited. It gets the team excited. We're always watching Twitch streams. If exciting things are happening in the Discord, I know devs try and stop by. Like it's super contagious, and yeah, we're very excited to get everything rolling and get more and more playtests out to you guys, and hopefully the finished product makes you happy and you're excited to play.
Yeah, you and us both, man. We're excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, at least, I mean, I'll sum it up my own experience. It's definitely different than what we've played in the past, but it is fun. I've had a great time every single test. Things are changing consistently too, so shout out to any of the devs that are listening to this. I know you guys are making changes, and every time I've played the game is vastly different, so appreciate that as well.
One up to that. All right, Solstice, we said we were going to take 20 minutes of your time. I think we're just about at that. I don't want to keep it too long. I know we can talk forever. You warned me that you can talk a long time, and I know we can too, so I'm going to stop.
Listen, man, I can shoot the ship for all eternity.
He cursed on stream. Get Shazbot in here. Get him out of here.
Get Shazbot. Take him out. But yeah.
Solstice, appreciate it. Oh, I guess we just shoot him away. Goodbye to Solstice.
Later, bro.
That's the kind of shit I want to see, though. That's really funny. We just say goodbye without saying goodbye. Get him out of here. I want. Okay, so this is going well. It seems like. Cool little teaser, dude. The fact that we get to see weapon skins in the game.
I'm sorry, I asked him about the next playtest. I had to. What do you want from me? You decided to bring me up here. Just want to throw that out, and I'm not going to leave and do that. But let's go back to the weapon skins. We have some skins. We know we're going to have sick colors. I'm going to if we get a yellow one, I'm dropping a fat stack on that thing for sure. I hope it's actually expensive because I'm 37 at this point. I have money. I don't have time, but I would like to be the only one that has a yellow spin fuser. So when you see somebody, doesn't matter what the name is, with a yellow disc, it's HotRod. That'd be so sick. Give me that. Or cape. I'll take a cape as well.
Dude, I wanted to theory craft a little bit on it, and maybe this is an opportunity to segue by bringing in our next guest. But it's not something I had planned on a script or anything, because no one knew this was coming. But how could we acquire these skins, right? Like, I'm sure money is a factor, but is there like some exclusive ones that, like, what is it, Overwatch, where you have to earn X many points to get the golden skin? Do I have to hit 100 MAs to get a certain skin? Like, could there be fun, gamified ways for me to chase something? So, I want to bring Jim in here to talk about it and hear his voice. Jim is freaking awesome. Can we get in here? Get in here, Jim.
Jimbo.
Come on. I had to say his name 3 times. Also, guys, I realize, especially when I'm matched up against someone like HotRod who has a professional mic, I have the 2012 mic. So hopefully you guys can accept my low quality and maybe
I think you sound great.
Better. Okay,
I've actually
Screw you guys.
met APC. I've met APC in real life, and he actually sounds exactly like that. So his mic's amazing.
Jim, are you here?
There we go. Yeah, I'm here.
Get in here,
You guys
Jim.
can hear
I want
me?
to hear your voice. Says we're now chatting with Hybrid. I wanted to see the Bioderm face too, because that would have brought up the topic of Bioderms again too.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of content that can be made about tribes lore out there, and there's a couple of people that have straight up self-proclaimed themselves like the lore expert, and I would love to know more about the Bioderms, and I don't see anything on YouTube about it. So I'd really like, please get on that, guys. I don't know what we're doing here.
Trust me, there's some lore heads out there that can teach you everything you need to know, and if you need it, I'm sure they're either in chat or you need to DM them.
They are in chat, but I don't read these days, APC.
I try to read chat, but also I'm skipping through everything. Okay, so look, what I want to see in this, as we try to get Jim figured out. Actually, before I even get into any of this, I have to shout out. Oh, Jim, that's you.
Jim.
Yeah, it's me. The one and
There it
only
is. All right, cool.
Jim Christ.
Not to be confused with Jim Christ. Maybe a later episode we could be blessed by Christ himself.
Yeah, it's
So, can you believe it? 5 minutes before we get started, Solstice is like, "Oh, I'm gonna leak some skins."
What do you got for us? What do you got for us, Jim?
Nothing. Okay, fine.
Oh.
Well, I'm gonna reveal the Shocklands. Here's hoping he
What?
DMs me some Shockland skins.
Is this confirmed?
No, it's not confirmed.
Real talk.
okay.
Real talk though, I will say there was somebody in my chat who was on the prophecy side that did say a shock lance was coming. Now, since that was in my Twitch chat when I was streaming, I figured that was public information because it wasn't a private stream. So if that's the case, I'm not going to say who the dev was in case they get in trouble, but a shock lance is coming, and that excites me. I love the shock lance. I think it's a cool, fun little gimmicky weapon. It's not the most practical sometimes, but hey, in the way heavies are today in the playtest, I sure wish I can have a shock lance to one shot.
Yeah, we might need it, you know, come next playtest. We probably do, unless that honor fuser gets tuned down a little bit. Know what I'm saying, Jim?
Yeah, definitely. So I wanted to talk about a little bit of what we have going on here so far these past playtests, the weapons and the armors, right? I wanted to talk about bioderms, but you know, unless somebody said that in your chat somewhere, this is.
I'm down to talk bioderms, dude. If that's what you want to do and you want to take your 20 minutes of time and fame, let's roll. What do you got?
We know
for
it's
us?
coming, right?
I hope
These
so.
people,
I sure hope so.
They made me a mod, and I had a bioderm avatar the entire time.
Point.
So, you know, I'm just a prolonged teaser.
Oh, foreshadowing. I love that.
Right.
Derms confirmed.
Just to, in case you don't know, I mostly play Tribes 2. I have also played all the other Tribes games. Some of the best players. And I think it's kind of interesting with these playtests. We still have a divide between the LT players and the regular CTF players.
Yeah.
I don't know if Prophecy has like a vision on how to unite everybody, but it's kind of cool that they said that eventually they're gonna have these gliders that you can have your own custom servers and tweak whatever you want. That's not something we really had in Tribes Ascend.
I think there is a way to unite everybody. My 2 cents on this one is you just announce like a ranked mode or a comp community decides which is the de facto comp community, decides this is the game we're going to play for competition, right? Because I am under the impression, you can correct me if I'm wrong, which most of the time I'm not, but that's fine, Jim, that most of the LT players are comp-focused players and are playing the game. They want to play a fun game, sure, but the fun that they get out of it is playing CTF in the most competitive and fun. Yeah, thank you. And most fun CTF game, which is Tribes, right? There's so much depth to it that I feel like that's where the try-hard LT community kind of sits. So what are your thoughts on if we introduce comp and it's not LT, are those people going to be happy?
I mean, I think they'll have to buck a little bit because this game is also trying to appeal to non-Tribes players. So if they want a healthy game, they're going to have to make some compromises here and there.
Yeah.
And to that point, I just want to talk about something that I think actually does unite a lot of people. And if you look at the feedback, let me just dive in a little bit.
Jeez,
I don't
that's gonna take
actually
forever, dude. That's a long list.
Well, one of the big things is chasing, which is very important in LT, right? And in competition. And right now, the light armor, which is the class that's always been known for chasing, and some of the best players really play that at the high level, like to the point they know how long a cap route takes. And they know the perfect exit routes, and they know how to chase people down, but they don't have a chain gun in them. So it's been, and also they don't have the ability to just even catch up to the capper. So there's a bunch of people that are now on the ground just watching this aerial battle between two flag cappers rabbiting and trying to kill each other, and we're just waiting for the flags to enter the end of the stalemate so it can get capped.
Yeah, look, when I think about that though, when I'm thinking about that is like maybe some of us are thinking about it like too quickly on like what the game is super balanced right now. No, it's not. It doesn't have chasing. It doesn't have that. But rest assured, we're only on like the second public play test. I don't even know if I could say public play test. Like there's only been like the request access one and the one before that where not everybody got in, I think. So like being able to test these things is more of a privilege than it is like we're trying to balance the game for competitive, that we're trying to make sure that all the positions are well balanced and all that. I feel like it's been like the last play test really much leaned into the 12v12. That was the first time we saw that, and the new map there. And then the 5v5 was maybe us trying to tinker it with like the new balance for the different armors and the different weapons that were added, such as the throwing the disc, the survivalist, the honor fuser, and all that. With the trend I'm seeing though from the earlier playtest to now is chasing is becoming more and more viable. From the very beginning, it was nothing. Like there were no perks, there was no disc jumping
because of rage and egocentric.
But now there is something, right? And like I think as we give this feedback, like I hope people don't look at it as like there's no chasing, there's no hope for it, I'm out of here. It's more there's no chasing, I give feedback, let's see what next week brings or next time we play test.
Yeah, and there's a lot of experimentation, like the nugget route.
Yeah, I love those.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because it's never been done in the other previous Tribes titles. So it's like a little bit of back and forth. Cappers are trying different things, and people that want to chase are trying different things.
Yeah, so
I know I've been trying to go for those nugs.
I know that. Sorry, the nugs are important, but I think chasing is more important. So I'm going to take the discussion back there, right? Because I am a chaser, and this is near and dear to my heart. I'm sorry, APC. I might not ever get a chance again. But look, chasing, I think also is very map dependent. And right now, we don't have many maps that will get a capper out on a back to front very fast, or at least not easily, right? There's a couple that you can run back to fronts on, but a back to front should always and has always been, if a capper gets out clean, unchaseable, right? And I think we actually can shift the discussion to chasing, where it gets easier if the only thing that is available to a capper is a side route. Like I'm talking like the having a base like DX, right, where you can't actually run a back to front. You can pretty much always chase that because you can create an angle even if you are in the medium armor in Tribes 3, right? And you can still catch up to one of those speedy lights. So I don't even know if we're going to get to the point where the chasing and the capping is done by lights in this game. And I was upset about that at first, but I think I'm becoming more and more acclimated with, okay, maybe we just do it in medium and you play more stand crash, right? Is that something that you think is viable and that people will eventually grow to enjoy? Or do you think this having a light that can also catch a capper is something that is necessary for the series to survive?
Well, I think that, people are still trying, and right now we have a super popular weapon on the medium called the grenade launcher, which is doing
Oh my
work.
goodness. No, don't bring that. Don't bring that
ABC,
up,
if you want to chime in on that.
No, I don't want to chime in. Like I said from the beginning, I was like, look, I want a stream that is just fun, casual. We're not being super negative. We're providing like thoughts, but the whole time we're not just bitching about X, Y, and Z on things that aren't Tribes 2, etc.
Honor fuse are bad.
There is one thing. If there's one thing I'm gonna bitch about, it's gonna be that nade launcher is just ridiculous. It is ridiculous in 5 ways. I'm not gonna go into it because I think everybody else knows why.
It's a little OP, but I think everybody understands that, and I think even the devs understand that. So I've been playing under the assumption where that's going to get changed. I'm playing under the assumption where the honor fuser cannot stay the way that it currently is, right? So I just take the high road and the honorable approach and just don't use them right now, right? I'm not trying to create a montage, I think people like maybe, I don't know, Jim Christ, right?
You're not doing the heavy honor fuser, chain gun, and throwable disc combo?
I haven't done that yet. I have died to it exactly 8 times. All right, and those 8 times I did write feedback and DM Solstice exactly when I did. And I suggest nobody else do that. By the way, do not DM Solstice, but you can DM. You can DM hybrid or APC if you ever die to the honor fuser or disc combo, and we will make sure that we forward all of your feedback to the appropriate contacts.
Oh, and write this down. Do not invite HotRodRe.
Thank you for that.
All right, cool.
I didn't think we would get a Tribes 3 APC. I definitely didn't think I would be on Tribes 3 Tribal Banter. Okay, so shoot
that was
shot.
your mistake. You should have saw that happening. All right, if there's one thing in life, you should have known that we were being reunited after that dinner we had together with Demitsu and have a game by 2023 that we could play together and get on a podcast. That seemed obvious to me. I'm sorry it didn't to you.
We're gonna have to do another dinner too, though. We've got to repeat this. That was a good night.
Well,
shout out to
I also
Hotlanta.
wanted to mention this game is trying extremely new things with the movement. Have you guys checked out the ski dashing mechanic that we have now?
Yeah, that was interesting, huh? Like, I don't think there's a negative to that. Like, as long as it's not screwing me up mid route, which in earlier playtests, you had that little jump jet, which now it's a setting, which maybe we talk about that later.
Yeah,
that fact
angle,
that you can change that setting, but that boost is so good for a new user, right? Like, that's one of those things that I think we can add into the game for the new user experience and not affect the veteran experience. We need more of that.
I think so as well. I think that's like, I don't even know if it was intentional, right? That it's in the game, right? I'm not sure, but it adds kind of a little bit more depth. I hope that's something that they actually keep and say, okay, maybe we didn't intend for this to be the way, but man, it makes ground fighting so much more fun. It's so good. I like it. The only thing I would say is like, let's talk about it. Let's embrace what we've done and maybe work it to where if you're just holding a strafe key and left strafe or back strafe or something like that, and you press your ski button, you will also go in that direction instead of just forward, right? I can't remember if that's ever been the case in one of the earlier play tests or not, but that might be, like, that's definitely a mechanic that I think we should not eliminate, but let's just maybe tweak a little bit.
Is the flag icon a mechanic too, with how large it is?
Oh, man, you're bringing up all the hot topics, man. Jeez.
This is speaking for the people. I mean, what do you want from them, right? We didn't like Solstice. should be happy that we didn't allow these two in the same room. I think, right? We should be getting thank you for this.
Well, I mean, at the end, we're
Well-
going to get everybody to come on all at once and take a bow. So maybe that's the time that they can duke it out. Yeah, that flag icon, that's another one I'll complain about. Because me and my flag passing I'm trying to do, it's really hard to estimate where the flag's going to be. I need a distance indicator. I need that flag not to cover the entire heavy. All right, yeah, maybe I'm too much in my soapbox right now. I'm doing what I said I'm not going to do.
Well, I don't know how much time I have left. I just wanted to mention 12 versus 12 was so much fun.
Agreed. I think that was a breath that everybody needed after that first play test. Like, I had a blast playing the first play test. Don't get me wrong, but I'm also that LT guy. I'm the competitive, sweaty guy. I like capping the flag and coordinating, an offense. But 12v12 just made me feel like traditional tribes, where you can just hop on a server and do whatever the heck you want, have fun, whether it is trying hard, or just trying to go heavy and capture as many kills as you can.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think wins in a straight up fight right now? Do you think a heavy with honor fuser and hand discs, or the medium with a nade launcher? They're pretty on par,
it could
right?
Be a fair trade. If you have the proper terrain, you can spam the grenade launcher and kind of avoid the. You just have to stay on the ground, right? You just have to know the heavy has an honor fuser, and you play around that.
The thing is like the nade launcher has so much like what's the word I'm looking for? It bounces you around, and the screen shake, or at least like it's so distorting that if you're trying to use the honor fuser when you're getting shot by these, it's not lobbing. They're like projectiles that explode on impact, no matter how far away you're aiming. That a heavy just
Yeah,
cannot
kind of like
sustain.
the thumper from Tribes of Sin.
I would 100%. Oh my god, yeah, but like a rapid fire thumper.
Yeah,
hands down, I would say nade launcher over the the ladder that you brought up.
Do you think that you can appropriately balance classes by limiting the number to which you can have on your team?
that is a tough question because they want the light to be a capper, they want the medium to be a midfield, and they want the heavy to be defense. But we've seen people trying to, they're trying to do what they can, no matter what the description is.
I think that's true. I think right now the heavies are just so good that you would probably want to put them in whatever position they can get the most value from. And Hoff is generally not it, because it's a killing machine. Why would you put it where you only need to get one kill every minute and a half, right?
Yeah.
So I'm with you there. I think that class limits has been kind of a thing in other class-based shooters. It is a way. I think, in my opinion, it is a way to balance. I'm just interested in how it would actually work. Right? Would it be something like we're going to protect the heavy, or something like that? If the heavy is intentionally supposed to be OP, and maybe it is, right? It's going to be interesting to see what the devs actually do with that, and what they actually want the ranked rule set to be if we get something like that.
And who knows? It doesn't have to be CTF. Maybe it could be escort or payload type of stuff. You have to be open,
dude,
right?
I want to talk game modes, but you're not the guy to talk about game modes, Hybrid.
Yeah,
your time is basically up. I actually truthfully hope and look forward to when production just kicks you out, just like we did with our last guest. So if you want to say goodbye now, I have no idea when you're getting kicked out. But I think we do need to wrap you up, get you out of here, and talk to our next guest. So until you get kicked out, is there anything you want to say?
I said it.
I didn't hear what you said though. What?
I said Woody Merc.
Ooh, I was waiting for you to bring up that foggy map. Hell yeah.
Fogs on map is dope. I'm with you,
right,
bro.
let's get Jim
go.
out of here.
Woody Merc.
Jim, thanks for coming. You're a beautiful man, even though we didn't get to see your face or your Bioderm face.
It's gonna come.
I look forward to it. All right, goodbye, Jim. This is great.
Bye,
this
guys.
is exactly what I want it to be. So
Thank you, Jim.
Before we go into the next bit, I wanted to give a shout out because as you can see, I'm hands free here. I'm doing this without any controls because I have a couple people who
I'm
have
hands
helped
free
me
too.
put this together. one gentleman in particular, his name's Cairo. Played with him in various tribes in the past, even legions, if anyone's ever heard or played that. And he stepped up to the plate and was like, I'm happy to put the production on for you. Because literally all I wanted to do was put together a screen like this and then just have people come on Discord and talk to me. I was going to make it very bare bones. But shout out to Cairo for putting this production together and kicking Solstice out sooner than we needed him to. And then bringing in our next guest too and showing these last minute teasers. And also Boomstick, who's helped with these graphics, like the promotion, the graphics, everything that that you see here are their brainchild. I had nothing to do other than putting the show together as a concept and then getting the guests on air. So cheers to Cairo, Boomstick, and in chat, I hope you guys appreciate them too, because this wouldn't be the way it is today if it wasn't for them. Cool. That's a word from our sponsors. Going into our next piece, I think our next guest and our last official guest until we do call-ins is Blitz. Love or hate him, he's here with us tonight, and we have a couple topics to go with him. So
I love him.
Slide him in here. I love him too. There he is. Okay, and he's in. And can we hear him?
Hey, boys.
Production crushing
What's
it.
up?
What up, Blitz? I feel
What's
like
up?
it should be Blitz, not Blitz. Like, what's going on? Did you rebrand for Tribes 3?
No, it's always been Blitz. It's always gonna be Blitz.
Do you get offended
I've
if
never
people
seen
call you
Blitz.
Blitz? Yeah, I've done
No,
that
I-
a time or two.
I think it's funny hearing people try to pronounce it in all kinds of interesting and different ways. But no, Blitz
Is it
fun.
your? I think I've seen in Discord. Your Discord name is Blitz or something. Like you have
Yeah.
another way of. Dude,
Yeah.
you're all over the place, but you're sticking with the Blitz.
Yeah, it's Blitz.
Yeah. Well, good to have you, man. I love to see your face. Good to have your voice on here. You're monumental to my Tribes career, but I think in Tribes in general, you're well known. So I thought it made a lot of sense to bring you on for this episode.
I would like
I'm
to say
excited to
I
be
would
here.
I would like to echo that as well. Blitz also helped me with my TA career as well. He put together a team and asked me to join and be the backbone of the defense, and we went on to dominate the entire season. So thank you for that, my dude.
Cheers. I got no drink, but cheers.
Oh, man. Cheers. Okay, so a little background on Blitz on how I known him. Dude, it's funny. Legions, back to that game again. Played a lot of that back in before my college days or during my college days. I can't even remember at this point. We were on opposite teams, and we were the top two teams. I'll give Blitz the edge that his team was on the better side, on the more winning side. But I'll never forget the one day that we played his team, and I said, guys, screw it. We're going all offense. We're doing an all offense strat on Moonshine. And at the end of it,
I
it
remember.
was less you, but more Dark Lord and somebody else on your team that said, that game doesn't count. That strat was BS. You guys abused the mechanics or whatever. It's like, no, we outplayed you. Like, we finally beat you guys. And we outplayed you guys in that.
I take it. I take it. If somebody uses like some really interesting out of the box strategy like that and it wins, it wins. I mean, it is what it is. I'll never forget it though. I remember seeing it being like, oh my God, what is happening? And it just cap after cap. We just kept bleeding them out. And yeah, that was a good game.
Yeah.
Good times.
That was fun. And then Tribes Ascend came about, and we basically like merged half of your team into my team, including you, Mabel. I don't think Fire was on.
Fire?
Was
Yeah.
Fire on? I'm afraid to say your team's name, but I'm gonna say it. Carpet Munchers. That was creative.
You had a team named Carpet Munchers.
Okay.
Is this
we'll
true?
move
I wasn't ready. I
Hold
wasn't
on, we
ready
need
for
to
that
stick here
reveal,
for a little
honestly.
bit. Who came up with that? Hold on.
I did.
What a
I'll
legend.
take that
that's
out.
funny.
Yeah, I'll take
Yeah.
that L.
I on the other hand,
Thanks,
I was in the
ATC.
middle of college, and I called it team vorticity, which is a meteorological term. I went to college for meteorology, and I'm like, dude, that's a cool word. And the symbol for it was zeta. And now I can't use Greek symbols in the game, so I just wrote zeta, and so we were more known as Zeta. So I went down this more, I don't know, nerdy route, and you guys know how I did that.
And I went down whatever route that is.
Wow, and
yeah.
you all decided to merge. This is great.
Yeah. Yep.
Then Tribes Ascend came about, and we played on a team Dead Stop, and then there was 5150 or Legion. There's different versions of those teams. We turned into Monomaniacs, but it was fun. We had half. I got Blitz on my side now, and we had other people that I were like grudges against, like friendly grudges from like Tribes 2 days. Shout out to Beer. And then now we're going into Tribes 3, and now we're talking about what teams do we create now, and we're talking about maybe merging the Legion and Zeta team members. You know,
that
like
would be
it's
fun.
so fun. It's so fun to see that to come together. So I don't know. I wanted to talk about that real quick on the history front before we went into the Tribes 3 world.
Actually, one of the things about Tribes 3, I think that just kind of, I don't know, I think it's funny. You know, they called it Tribes 3 Rivals, and so I'm like, it almost feels like Destiny. Like, I have to team with somebody that hated my guts in a previous Tribes game, because that'll just make the best story. Like, it writes itself.
It's a long list. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
it's not. It's really mean for me
I mean,
to
it's
say.
it's a decent list.
It is a
but
decent
that would
list.
make a killer team. That would make a killer team. So who knows?
You do have a lot of haters, Blitz. I think that there's no reason for us to shy away from that, I think. But you also probably have a lot of haters due to your success. I think that you have one of the most distinguished resumes that's still playing the game, right? I think you are probably known for a little bit of riskier strategies, but they're more aggressive, and when they work out, they really work out, and you win championships with them. So I think it's fine for you, and haters make you famous. So I think that we're all a little bit older now and a little bit less piss and vinegar. So yeah, if you want to put a team together with what are your rivals, I think that would be super awesome, and I'd love to watch.
Also, quick shout out to anybody who was, I guess, considered themselves in that camp of a Blitz hater, because quite literally, as silly as it is, that was the fuel I needed to chase it. You know what I mean? It was like just having that group of people be so dismissive of me or disrespectful or just, you know, like friendly rivalry, even that's enough to push me to, you know, try to win, try to put together a team that can do it. And without that, I don't know if I ever would have done it, to be honest.
I love that. That's such a beautiful story. And like you're just love to hate you, I think, is what they like, right? Like people, personality always has the opposite reaction, right? Where people love you, but then people also hate you, and that's kind of like it comes in the territory of your success, your fame of all of it. So having you on the team, having you on the podcast here, being a part of your teams in the past and maybe in the future, is an honor. You're a big part of Tribes to me. All right,
Yeah, dude,
enough gassing up Blitz.
I'm excited. All right, yeah.
We're done gassing you up. All right, it's not about you anymore. It's about Tribes.
Okay. Okay, I'm ready.
So let's get your initial reactions, because again, we weren't planning to have any teasers, and just so I'm very super clear, this is not prophecy like property or anything. This is just APC saying let's get some friends together and talk online. So if anyone's thinking anything they hear is official, such as Shocklands confirmed or all that, like we're just bantering, hence Tribal Banter. But when you saw those skins, what was your reaction, Blitz?
I'll be honest, expected. I mean, I feel like it's kind of what I expect this game to be able to do in terms of monetization. You know, it almost would be silly to not expect it, you know? So I expect the full gamut of skins. I expect capes, I expect armors, maybe even turrets and trails, who knows? I mean, if they can skin it and sell it, why wouldn't they? Like, that's going to be the whole moneymaker here. So that's fully expected from me.
But why not Tribes Ascend?
You got me, dude. I don't know. I mean, they should have, right? It was ripe for doing that exact thing. So they missed opportunity, I guess. But now they seem to they have the right direction now. They've got the right ideas. They know what they need to do differently to at least make it more financially feasible for them to stick with it as like a live service thing, which I'm kind of hoping is going to be the case here.
Yep.
But yeah, so I mean, it's expected. That's 100% what I expect them to do, and I look forward to more. I'm going to buy them all.
That's the thing is, I'm the cheapest free-to-play player. I played Apex for nearly 1,000 hours. I haven't dropped $1 on the game because I truly don't care about cosmetics or anything. I just want to play the game, and nothing is gating me from my success with a game like Apex, right?
Do you not feel like you're not? Aren't you supposed to like spend some money and support the devs though? I thought that's what our duty was to do. Like with the finals that just came out, that's free to play and they have cosmetics. Are you not going to buy anything there? Are we not supporting the devs?
I spend money for things I want or need, and when I can save a buck, so I can buy something else that I actually
If
need,
I
that's
get
what
a
I do.
gun in this game called the Hot Rod whatever, are you going to buy it or not?
Probably, because you know why?
Thank you.
My heart is in Tribes. My heart is in
Appreciate
Tribes,
it.
and I will spend the money for it. That's what I mean. Is like for a game I care a lot about, or things that like it's not even about the cosmetics at that point. It's just more about I need to be a part of the game in more than just a basic sense because I want a personality in it. I didn't have that same buy-in for other games. I enjoyed the games, but I wasn't so invested so much into it. So seeing something like weapon skins at the baseline, but all the other potential areas that we can shell our money out to, this is where I'm going to start looking like some of my friends who shelled out thousands of dollars for free-to-play games. I go, why the heck do you do that? Well, I'm going to be doing that with Tribes. And like, I don't just say that just to banter. It just makes me happy, right? Like, I cannot wait. Seeing that red skin, I don't know what it was called. I don't remember their names at this point, but that red skin in particular stuck out to me. I'm like, I want that.
Yeah,
I'm
two
with you.
things. I'd love to have a cape that said "Play for Real" on it. I'm just saying.
Oh
if
my
there's any
God, I'll
devs to
pay
have
money
it,
for that.
like, if I can get a cape that says "Play for Real" on it, I'm buying it. All right. And then I also like Hot Rod's idea. Actually, he shared with us before about every time the flag is grabbed, you get to like put in a custom sound, or you can buy like a sound for that. Maybe play a little clip of a song or something. I would love something like that.
That would be so sick. They can go so many ways, and I also think that like, so okay, well let's just say the best skins that have ever been done in games is like Counter-Strike. It makes perfect sense because people pick up your weapons and you spend half of your time in spectator mode, right? BRs, I don't think it makes much sense because maybe you are in the server and you see somebody for maybe 2 or 3 seconds. But with Tribes, you're in the server, you're in a match until somebody gets to 5 caps or the time runs out, right? That's a lot of people that are going to be looking at my yellow cape wearing ass, right, that whole time. So I'm absolutely in for it. I'm absolutely in for cosmetics. I think it'll be dope.
Oh my God. I think about what we can add, and it's just beyond the jet trails and the flags. We were talking about the game APB, and I haven't thought about that game in over a decade. And then for some reason it popped in my head, and it was Psycho I was talking to. And he's like, dude, I forgot about that game. And one thing that they had in that game that I think that was like ahead of its time, or at least very unique, is you can create a custom death tone that lasted 2 or 3 seconds before you join the game. And anytime you killed someone, they would hear your 2 to 3 second death tone using the synthesizer they built in game. And so some people would do the, like classic little tunes like din 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 or whatever it was, and you would laugh. You get a good giggle, and it set the personality for that person. So when you got killed by them again, you saw it again, or you heard it again. I would love to hear something like that in this game. It's a little gimmicky, but it's fun.
I agree. Fun. And this game needs more fun. So the more fun we can inject into it, especially if it doesn't hurt the overall gameplay or affect it in any way, then let's have a good time, And I actually kind of wanted to steer the conversation in the gameplay direction and talk about maps if you're okay with that.
Hot Rod, you got a second? Can we talk about this?
I mean, he's a guest of honor. We can do whatever he wants. What am I going to do? He's like, if I tell him no, he's going to put me in a montage or something. So yeah, let's go for it.
All right. We'll do it for the sake of the montage. All right, go ahead, Blitz. Take it away. What do you got?
No, I haven't seen this comment really echoed a lot or talked about a lot, but I feel like there's a lot of gameplay that people want that we can give them without even really redesigning the game. I mean, as it currently stands, we could give it to them. All we have to do is put a flag indoors. I think we're so hyper focused on almost making sure that every single map plays and skis perfectly and flows perfectly for cappers or chasers or for, comp type CTF, but not every map needs to be that. And some maps can offer like a real variety in gameplay. If you put the flag indoors 2 or 3 stories down, that just became a TDM map. And that's going to satiate a lot of people that really want that base-centric gameplay because they're going to spend 80% of their time indoors attacking and defending the objective. Not every flag needs to be immediately grabbable out in the open from 3 to 4 different angles. Maybe just one angle. You know, maybe this flag is way harder to grab on this map than it is on another map. Maybe one map is more capper centric, but another map is, you know, more Hoff centric. Like, I think that this could actually solve a lot of problems for us in the long run.
Dude, you came in swinging with topics to talk about, or at least with the indoor side. And this is coming from a guy who's also a capper that wants to go fast.
I do.
You're saying I don't need to go fast.
Well, I like to go fast, but I know that that's not what everybody else likes. And in the spirit of trying to make a tribes that's approachable to the masses, you know, this is in a way kind of like my compromise, but also this is a nod back to Tribes 1, Tribes 2, Tribes Vengeance even. Like, I remember sometimes you'd have to come up with a strategy that was totally different because it wasn't about just running a route and clearing for it. There was more depth to it. And I think that that's fun. It's different. It's not necessarily my preferred like style of tribes. I'm like you. I like LT. I like the, you know, go fast, pass the flags, chase, cluster. Like, I love that action. I love it to death. But there's, you know, I would say the minority in that. And I feel like the majority, they want the more, you know, goofy, TDM centric, you know, chaotic, everything's going on around them kind of gameplay. And I think we could solve that with some interesting map design.
I think map design
I think you're right.
it can change the game fundamentally at its core without having to rebalance classes or anything like that, right? You would assume that, you know, the more open maps would favor speed and everything, but the more closed off maps or even a flag stand that's indoors definitely favors more firepower. So yeah, you can definitely change a lot about the game just by map design, which is why, generally speaking, most of the tribes games that have existed have tons of maps, but an extremely small map pool, and why Team A would be very good on one map versus Team B, right? Even to compare it to something else, I mean, like Counter-Strike, again, there's teams that are just amazing at maps, but I feel like map is more important in tribes than it has even in that game. And with BR games that exist today, that almost doesn't matter at all, right? But this is because CTF is such a unique game type, and because different classes and different armor sets are so uniquely different that they can really play and make a game that they want just by changing the map. 100% agree. But would you I think that is something that they never really did in TA. Like sometimes they would shield a flag, but nothing was indoor combat, right? You would have some indoor rooms, I think, on a few maps, which was great because Quake players would dominate there, and I've got, you know, that in my history as well. So I always appreciated those. But is it something that you think the devs are afraid to do because it doesn't look great on film? It doesn't look as exciting maybe to new players, right? Because it is a little bit chaotic when you get indoors like that. Do you think it's something that they're afraid of, Blitz, or do you think that they're going to give it a shot?
Oh, that's interesting point. I never really thought about from a viewer perspective kind of thing, and I guess, yeah, that's a valid point, but I really don't think that that's what they would consider. I mean, based on the video that they put out with IGN, I don't think that they see gameplay through the same lens that we do. So no, I don't think that they would have that opinion at all, actually. I feel like the average person could see a bunch of indoor combat and think it's just as cool as a capper chaser sequence. That we're biased there. That's cool to us, and we know exactly what we're looking at. The average gamer does not. So to them, either one, I think, is equally cool looking and makes no difference.
That nade launcher is going to be crazy indoors, bro.
Yeah.
Dude,
for sure, that needs a tweak. That needs a tweak. We
now.
all know that needs a tweak. Actually,
that's where my head went. That's where my head went, man. I just am thinking like an indoor map. You can't miss.
Well, if we're going to talk about tweaking something, if there's one thing I could be heard on, it's definitely the standoffs. And I really feel like we're close to actually finding a compromise that works. But man, if they could just reset the flags when that timer goes out, that would literally fix all the problems we have right now with the current system. Like, I know other people may not even like the current system, but I'm just assuming the current system stays and we get like a standoff timer. As long as we have that standoff timer and you don't return the flags, then you're incentivized to either rabbit or destack. right? Which is a problem they very clearly said they don't want. So let's not have it, force the flags to reset, and then encourage people to actually go for the return and keep the action rolling. I think that's actually a pretty simple fix.
I'd rather that solution than what's in place today, but I'm still in the camp of like, let standoffs live. Like standoffs is like, again,
Right.
I'm wearing the selfish hat here, of like, if you want my feedback, like I thoroughly enjoy standoffs more than probably when the flags are on the stand itself. But if there is that direction that we need to not have standoffs last more than 2 minutes, then basically it's a reset. It's like, all right, you failed to capture the flag and return it, therefore go again, try again. You can almost create like a meta behind that where it's like, hey, the flag's auto returning in 10 seconds. I'm going to set up a cap route to go after that.
Yep. Yeah. I think, so I know I kind of have an idea of where they're trying to go or why they don't necessarily like standoffs. And I think we're trying to avoid turtling, which I think the majority would say that turtling is maybe not fun. But I think standoffs were amazing in Tribes Ascend. They're so good. The cluster play in Tribes Ascend was the best thing about the game. And standoffs, if you can prevent crazy rabbiting, and there's multiple ways you can do that, and the community will love to tell you which ways you can do that, it can still be incredibly fun. And even with the Nitrons, the way that they are and the way that they were in TA, it made clustering crazy. Getting a flag actually home and getting a flag once it was home, holding it was just so anxiety inducing in that game because you never knew. You had to, I mean, your head was on a swivel the whole time. You're always looking around for somebody that's going to come. One that could be invisible, which I'm not a fan of invisibility in games. I think that's weird, and I will stand on this hill until I die that invisibility probably should be reevaluated. But the Nitrons in Tribes of Sin and in this game create crazy chaos, and it's beautiful to watch. It's the best thing in Tribes.
Oof, that is the hottest take I've heard so far. I know. I'm ready for chat.
That's not a hot take. That's not a hot take. Nitrons are great, right? I think I'm biased for sure, but Nitrons basically on a flag stand, I think could be classified as bullshit. I'll go ahead and admit that. That's a little cheap. But Nitrons in a standoff are amazing. Nitrons for chasers are amazing. They're so much fun. If I catch up to you, I should have a way to put you down. And right now, without a chain gun, I don't have much, right? So let's keep it, like, give me something, right? And give me something to, like, take somebody out that's rabbiting a flag. And right now, like, just picking an angle and hitting a Nitron is the best way to do both of those things.
Well, and to add on to the rabbiting thing, just since we're on the topic, I think that somehow the capper needs to not be able to replenish health on the nugs constantly. I mean, I don't necessarily have a solution to that, but if you want to stop rabbiting being a problem, you can't let the capper literally get free health and energy every time they do a circuit around the map. It's like that just exacerbates the problem. So, but yeah. I mean, regardless about all that, I want to echo what everybody else has said so far since the very beginning. I'm extremely excited to be here. I'm extremely grateful that Tribes even exists. And I had completely given up on Tribes ever being a thing. I just kind of took the pragmatic, realistic approach of like, yeah, dude, this probably isn't coming back. You might as well just move on. And then here we are, and I think I speak for everybody. None of us really saw this coming. This was not on our bingo cards. So it's just cool to be here, and I'm ready to adapt to whatever the finished product ends up becoming. I just hope that because they involved us so soon and they're actually listening to the feedback, that maybe we'll have more influence on that direction this time around.
Sure. No, I couldn't agree more. I think the direction that they're taking with it is unique in its own way, but also what a lot of us are enjoying today. Like, there's so much more to give. There's so much more to change, but what we have today, I want to play it right now, right? Like, it's not, oh, this sucked and I don't want to play it right now. I'm still chomping at the bits. Even give me the last play test. I don't care. Hit me with that grenade launcher. I hate it, but I'm still enjoying myself outside of it.
Same.
But Blitz, I think that was a good way to sign yourself off because
I have one more question, please. Can I ask one more question? This is very important.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
It better be about Tao being on top.
Tao is on top. That's not a question, APC. Blitz,
that's a good answer.
If there was a pickup held right now, would you or APC be chosen first?
I'd be chosen
That's a
first.
good-
Thank
That's-
you.
that's
Let's
a good sign.
go, bro. He still got it. He still got it. Play for real. Thank you, Blitz.
Oh
Good
man,
having you,
I love
Blitz.
you
Thanks for
guys.
taking the time
Hey,
for
this
us.
was awesome.
Yeah, I love you
Thanks
too,
for
bud.
inviting me. Take it
Take
easy.
care, bro.
Yeah, of course. Cool. Man, that was a perfect transition out. Well done. I love that. We're getting
Our
polished here.
Production needs to get paid, bro.
Yeah, for real. Don't look at me. I'm the shitty free to play guy.
Do we get to do community call-ins now?
So we're gonna do community call-ins. I'd love for people that are watching right now, and I'm gonna give it a little bit of time for you guys to pile in. In the official Tribes 3 server, the Discord server, there's a Tribal Banter waiting room. I'm gonna have to give production like 5-10 seconds of a heads up of who we're gonna bring on. But if you pile into the waiting room, that means you want to be selected to come on air. And all I ask is just be mature. Like at this point, we need to be at least 25, 30 years old. And so if you really want to talk about and have a good time with us, join the chat. If not, I don't know. We'll just kick you out. I don't know what we could do other than say get out. But I look forward to topics that we either win over and you want to capitalize on it, or you want to bring something up. I think Blitz brought up an awesome conversation about indoor maps, because indoor maps, I think, is something I don't think about enough. But when I thought about it, the first map that came to mind, and I saw people in chat say this, was Minotaur. Minotaur was an amazing map for comp, and it's not about going fast as it was more like clustering, or at least trying to get the flag a little bit further down the you can either choose to go inside or go outside. So if there's any devs listening, I'd love to see a Minotaur style map personally.
Oh, it was amazing, right? So it was all cappers, and everybody has to make that choice. Where do we have the advantage right now, outside or inside? And then you had to end up playing the whole map in like your spawn loadout, right? Which is something that TA didn't do and T3 is not doing, right? Which changes the game drastically, that you don't have to actually visit an inventory station to get your primary loadout, right? So it would be interesting to see nowadays if they tried something similar to that, when you can just spawn in whatever loadout that you prefer. But man, Minotaur, yeah, great games. We don't play it. I don't think it's played much at all these days, but it's certainly something that is historic.
It's a legacy. All right, I'm looking at the waiting room. There's a must-have in this chat. So I'm going to drag him into the podcast channel. I don't know if he's able to speak immediately, so we'll give production its time to do that. But this individual that we're bringing on, if he's actually trying to get on, is a dev of the game. Someone I worked with when I was at HotRodRe, but he is now working as one of the designers of Tribes 3. So if he's able to join us, that would be huge.
Hello. Can you hear me?
We have you already. Austin, yeah, we hear you.
Yo,
How's it going?
Not
good.
too
Welcome. How are
bad,
you?
dude.
I'm doing great.
So, Austin
mostly
here,
just wanted to-
go ahead. Don't talk over me. By all means, I'm not the important one here.
Yeah, I mostly just wanted to hop in and really say, big thanks to everyone coming together to, do this. I think it's awesome. We've been loving hearing everybody's feedback. So definitely keep it up.
Hell yeah, dude. So Austin nicknamed him as Georgia Gold back in the day. We went skiing in Breckenridge like 12, 13 years ago. I don't know. So Georgia Gold, the man. I won't keep you long because it seemed like you wanted to keep it short, but all I want to hear is there something that you heard here tonight that really interests you and you want to bring back to the drawing boards tomorrow?
Well, I will say this. A couple of things that have been touched on tonight, so I can kind of hear myself talking back.
Yeah, you do. Sorry about that.
It's all good. And some of the things that have been brought up, you may notice in the next playtest. So you have some stuff to look forward to. There may be some things in there that people will have to adjust to and may not like. I don't know. But there's definitely some things in there that people will really appreciate, I think.
Oh, boy. Sounds
Can
like
I
we're
ask
getting-
questions? You don't have to answer, and I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but I'm going to ask, right? Are we talking like weapon changes? Are we talking physics changes? Can you give any of that info?
Well, there'll be a
Everything?
little bit of everything, but some things that I know directly about. There will definitely be some weapon changes, or I should
Let's
say,
go.
weapon additions.
Weapon
Oh.
additions. More. Oh,
That's even
hello.
better. That's even better. So Austin, just to be clear, are you focused more on the weapon side, like the creation and balance of them, or a little bit more on your role would be helpful?
I mean, so I work on a little bit of everything on the design side, but primarily recently been focused on weapons. More so of actually making them.
So, can I ask you the same question that I asked earlier to Solstice? How do you go about actually incorporating feedback and knowing how to change it? Are you reading through what people are saying about the weapons? I'm sure you are, but like, how much weight does that hold versus you actually looking at metrics and how people are performing or what shots people are hitting?
I mean, honestly, it's a whole lot of things. It's obviously we read a lot of the feedback, but we're having to balance a whole bunch of things around, the feedback that we're getting everyone's not always in agreement on everything. So you have to make some judgment calls there. There's also internal goals that we have around things that we're trying to accomplish, things that we think may or may not work that we just want to try. So sometimes something might go in there and be like, what is this? It's just us trying some things just to see if it'll work. Because we're not really afraid to try stuff and see what's working, what isn't working, what people like, what people don't like. Because that's just part of the process.
Appreciate you, man. I feel like if I keep you on here any longer, HotRod just gonna keep answering you questions that's gonna get you fired tomorrow. So to save you from that,
I would never do that. I just have one more. I just have one more question.
Last one, and then Austin's got to go to bed.
Do you think that you dominate in the internal playtests? What? That's a great question.
I wouldn't say I'm the best, but I'm certainly not the worst.
Yep, that's what we want. We want to hear. We want to hear like the person working on weapon balance knows how to throw down. Right? That's great. I'm proud. Thank you for coming on, man. I feel so much better.
Yeah.
You're GOAT.
Yeah, just to be clear, so that I'm not the one being dragged for things that people don't like. It is a team process. I'm not the sole arbiter of the decision-making process.
You're good, man. I think
it's all about the feedback and trying to make judgment calls on what we think will be the best kind of process in the long run for getting to where it needs to be.
Well, man, I don't think there's a single team or game developer that says this one person gets to make all the decisions and that we wait for him to give the marching orders. So I hope everyone understands that, but I know that's hard to expect out of a community. Cool, man. This is great. Thanks for coming on the show. And like, I think this alone shows that like these kind of community initiatives, I just put this together 2 weeks ago just as like, this would be fun. And then getting like the developer support like this is like, just, I mean, heartwarming to me, but also I hope it's a sign to the rest of the community that like they are listening. They're attending. They're not just listening. They're attending the show. So Austin, have a good night.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Austin.
Cool. Goodbye, Austin. All right, let's bring somebody else in. I'll let you choose this time, HotRod. Choose wisely.
Oh man, can we get Fish Sticks in? I think Fish Sticks has done enough for the Tribes community through the years to deserve a chance on stage. And then I'm gonna say on deck though. I'm okay. I think you can invite any of the ACD kids up here. I might go off on them if they start saying this ACD. Like if they start spewing propaganda, we're gonna throw down. So warning to you, APC.
If it's a matter of when, if we bring them on there. Come on, we know that for a fact.
I probably should have had Fish Sticks.
Hello.
Yeah.
What's up, bro?
Oh, even another good sounding mic on the podcast. We need that.
I had to switch to my USB mic for this one.
Yeah, appreciate that.
You sound great, bro.
Maybe I'll do the same next time. I sound like crap. What's up, man? I watched a lot of your VOD from your stream this past weekend. You want to bring any of the topics that you think were the most potent from that?
You guys covered most of the topics that I think I covered in my video as well. I did just upload that to YouTube, by the way, so check it out. I've posted it on Reddit and etc.
Yep.
Honestly, like there's so much criticism that we could give, and there's so much that we could be really positive about as well. Like, one thing I will say right off the bat is I'm enjoying this game like more than I enjoyed Tribes Ascend in terms of the physics from the get-go.
Okay.
And I've had a lot of fun, especially in 12v12 over this last weekend. So while I'm on one hand like gonna obviously be as critical as possible and like, you know, give as much feedback as I possibly can, I'm also equally as excited about the future of this game. And I think one really important thing for people to realize is like Prophecy is moving at lightning speed right now. The way that the game has evolved in just the past couple of weeks is kind of astounding. I don't know like what they're feeding their developers, or APZ probably know a little bit better than me, since you worked with a lot of these folks in the past, but they are cranking out code like nothing else. So honestly, the physics have a lot of work. There's a lot of work that needs to go into the physics. The maps need a lot of work. The balance is all over the place. I think we all know all these things, but ultimately the foundation I feel is pretty exciting, and it's just really, really cool to frankly see all of these people in chat right now. That's the thing that gets me the most excited about this game, is just seeing the Tribes community together and reunited again.
That's exactly where this like show is coming from too, right, man? Like I know you know it too, because like I know Fish Sticks from many years ago. In fact, he casted my Tribes Ascend LAN match that I did in Toronto on Monomaniacs with
your
Mark,
winning match, bro.
working at Prophecy, and I won. Wow. I just dabbed on stream. That's great. But just so people know, like Fish Sticks himself, like this dude's an OG in just not just Tribes, but in esports, like a original member of the Twitch team back in Justin TV days, and doing great things with your current company. I would like you to at least talk about it really briefly, if you don't mind.
Hopefully we'll do something with Tribes. Not really sure yet. It's cool. Like a rewards platform for gamers called Forge.gg. Hopefully I'll come back like in a couple of weeks and we'll actually have like something to talk about with Tribes, but we'll see. Still working on that.
Yeah, I mean that's a cool little tease right there, but like I think just what you're working on right now is actually really unique and special to just gaming in general. So it's cool to see you
Appreciate
take this arc. So I guess Fish Sticks, like I guess if you have any comments or any questions you want to ask us before we move on, like I think the next thing I want to do with the person that we bring in here is someone we don't know at all. Hopefully it's somebody new to the community, and just I would love to talk to someone that's new. But if you have any questions or anything you want to say before you depart, would love to hear it.
We've heard a little bit about people loving 12v12. I guess one question that I'm curious to get your guys' thought on, we talked about the dichotomy between the LT players and the big team players. Like, what do you think is going to work the best for this game in terms of like, are we going back to T2, 12v12, 16v16? Do you expect vehicles to come into play? Do you want vehicles to come into play? Like, I guess like it's a better question for the dev team themselves, but I am curious to hear your thoughts. Like on like what should we expect from the future, and like what is actually going to make Tribe successful? Because for me, that's a really, really key important thing here, is not just what do we want. There's 150 of us in this chat right now. There's probably tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people that have played and loved Tribes over the years that are going to come out through the woodwork. But what is the version of Tribes 3 that actually has a chance to expand outside of, like, frankly, our niche community? Not that many people have played Tribes over the years. So how do we get to not hundreds of thousands of players on a monthly basis, but like millions of players? Can that happen with Tribes, and what version of Tribes is that?
Do you want me to take a stab at this?
Go ahead, HotRod. Yeah.
No, if you have strong, I didn't know you were gonna have strong thoughts. Go first, and then I'll wrap it up.
No, we're both answering this. All right, I'll start first, but I want this to be a double answer. So the way I'm viewing what the success of this game could be is you got your casual go ham with, like, you got your 12v12, 16v16. Like, it was said that 12v12 isn't just a limit. Like, let's see if we can go higher. The more people you add, the more chaos you add. Now, we have to talk about maps and how you sustain all of that and make it tasteful. Too small would be way too much. Too big might not be appealing to people. I'd be willing to try it, though. So I want to see a casual side of the game where it's 12v12 plus. Add weapons, add base destruction and inventory stations and everything in between. Like something that I can't even think of at the top of my head right now. Like I want to see the casual side of the game to just be whatever chaos we can create, and that's what Tribes was. Like you can throw fusion mortars across the map, you can cap and go fast and try hard and try to go for the objective. You got people repairing the generators and deploying turrets and whatever. Like I just want to see it go ham on that. On the flip side, I want to see that ranked. I want to see the sweaty 5v5, 7v7. I don't think we've really honed in on what that looks like yet, but I want to keep trialing and erroring.
I'm on the 77.
Yeah. Right? Like I think 7v7 would be worth trying at the very least. The downfall is like on the competitive side, the more people you add to a team, the harder it is to get a bigger scene for it. But I want to try it.
Esports gets way harder.
And so like I want to be a part of that panel of like what competitive balance there is. The casual side, do whatever the heck you want. And then like the dev said, they want to be able to add flags to say like, hey, maybe we disabled the strike on this map because the strike is OP right now or whatever. Like let the community decide what they want.
I think this is another conversation that I want to get to, and we could do another hour on this, right? But I think Fish Sticks, being around the industry so long, is actually a good person who I would like to have input from on this specific question. And that question is, can a game, and can more specifically an esport, be successful if the pub game is vastly different from the competitive or ranked game?
Oh, that's a good question, because it usually no. I mean, usually the answer is the pub version is pretty damn similar. The version that 95% of players is almost or basically exactly the same as the kind of high level esport version. I think the counter to that is like games like League of Legends, where a lot of people play ARAMs, right? Like there's a hyper casual mode that you can play that's different. But on the whole, if you look at the entire league player base, like yes, more people are playing like standard League of Legends than they are playing ARAMs. But there is that option for more casual players. But I think one thing I said on my stream, and I've said a couple times now, so I'm probably going to be a broken record if you did tune into that. But like, if you look at what are the most popular games that have come up out of nowhere on Steam recently, I think BattleBit is a really interesting one for us to look at as Tribes fans, because BattleBit is essentially just what all Battlefields fans wanted Battlefield to be. They stripped out all the graphics, they focused on the core engine, they focused on building a great game. But you know what else they did that is unique? And in my opinion, the reason BattleBit actually became wildly successful in a top 10 game on Steam is actually just make it super goofy and super fun to play with your friends. And that's done through proximity voice chat. Like BattleBit would be a fantastic game on its own because they just did a great job with it. But because they added really, really good proximity voice chat, it becomes a funny experience that's clippable, that streamers are going to play, that you're going to get your Discord homies together and jump in that game because it's just goofy and fun. And like when someone dies, they're going like, oh, tell my wife I love her. And like it just creates these funny experiences. And like look at Lethal Company as well, that like has that proximity voice chat and like these little ways to make it fun. I think Blitz was mentioning this, or someone was mentioning this in chat. Like, how do you just make it a fun experience to play with friends? And that's really what I want Prophecy to think about when it comes to the pub experience. How is it fun for 5 casuals to get on Discord and play this game together? And I was imagining like proximity voice chat and Tribes would be fucking amazing. Can you imagine a capper flying at you going like, oh, get shit on, and then like flying away?
Yeah,
and,
like you're actively
so
chasing a capper and both of you are talking shit to each other. That'd be incredible.
It would be fucking gold. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. My bad.
You can say whatever the fuck you want. This is my channel, not Prophecy's channel or anything. And again, be clear, this is not a Prophecy event. Fish Sticks, we could talk a lot. And in fact, maybe we can get you on the next show or two to talk a little bit more on like game modes or just theory crafting on what we can make to make the game more fun.
I'll be here anytime. Thanks for having me. The last thing I'm gonna do before I jump off is just say to chat, what is your number one Tribes game? What's the game that you came from? I always do this whenever I have a chance to because I think it's fun. I'm Tribes 1, baby.
I'm a Tribes 2 classic guy, but
same.
I played them all. Cool.
I'll
Thanks,
identify
Misfits.
as Tribes
Fun guy,
2
great guy.
classic. Yep,
Yeah,
big
that's
fan.
where my heart and soul was at the very beginning. Like I played Tribes 1, and I always say when I bought Tribes 1 from what was it, Kmart? I came home, I showed my mom like the game because I could walk up to someone and I can wave to them and they wave back to me.
Yep.
I'm like, look at that. Like I was amazed not just by the game but by the animations. And it was just so engaging from like the BGS system and the animations and just the chaos that the game brought. I was ass at Tribes 1. I was young. I was 10, 11 years old. And I remember calling my friend
56K.
saying,
It's great.
exactly, calling my friend ahead of going on the internet and saying, hey, on our landline, join this server. Okay, goodbye. Hit the 56K dial up, join the server, and then when you're done, disconnect, call them on the landline and say, yo, did you see that cap I hit? Right? Like there was no voice comms during it. Like it was the OG days.
Yep, those are good. I used to stay up past my bedtime and play because that's when I could, right? Parents go to bed and I'd wake up at like 1 a.m. and play Tribes, right? That's how I got my start. It's weird. I'm just like too young for T2, but like now I'm too old for T3. Like TA was great. I love that. That was a fun little comp experience and a good use of my time. But let's go.
Same.
Who's coming up next, bro?
So I dragged in
hello,
Insane
I'm
Chaos.
Insane
I don't
Chaos.
know if I know Insane
I
Chaos,
need to
but
mute the channel
the
because
name
I'm hearing
intrigued me.
myself like multiple times.
Oh, you're
Uh,
going to hear yourself probably twice, and if that doesn't work, we
Okay.
can find someone else. It's what we have to work
Well-
with today.
Okay. Well, I had started playing competitive games through Tribes Ascend. I wasn't good at it, but from there on, I started playing competitive games in like Dota 2, some other stuff, and it's something I really am excited to see. I was so excited with the first couple playtests. And the big thing is for me is trying to get new players into the game. I've had a bunch of friends who are kind of want to try it, but from the first two playtests didn't really understand the purpose of the game, and I'm just like flying around the map having fun.
Okay.
And I'm very curious with how Prophecy are gonna engage new players with base building, vehicles, and the like. I'm really excited for the next few playtests that will flesh it out.
So I'm going to ask a couple of questions here, right? And then just you'll kind of get what I'm going at. So when you tried the game or your friends tried the game, did you jump into 5v5 or did you jump into 12s right off the bat?
With the players I started with, I first did 5v5 so they could learn the controls because there wasn't a flesh out tutorial yet. We just talk about like control schemas because I remapped everything to spacebar and right mouse, like Tribes Ascend. But after one game, we'd go into 12v12 because people were actually playing objectives. The 5v5 is kind of just like a team deathmatch, figuring out guns. In the 12v12, you could actually see like heavy on flag, people trying out the classes and what they can do.
Okay, and they still with 12v12, they were just a little overwhelmed with how much there was to do, or they were confused about the objectives of CTF, or can you kind of I'm not saying that you actually got a lot of information for them, but this is important to us. So you know, actually, there are issues with the confusion that you mentioned.
Yeah, there was a lot of mixed feedback, which is kind of cool. One friend only tried to use some bullet weapon. I don't remember which one, but they had like a huge hesitancy to using the spin fuser and other explosive weapons because they couldn't hit shit with it. And
That's fair.
but other people just wanted to go fast, try to cap flags. My brother, who had never played Tribes before, was only trying to go fast and capture flags. The standoff mechanics
Was he able to?
were a bit of a
Was
turnoff.
your brother able to go
capture it.
fast? Okay.
As fast as he could, yeah. If anything, I think that the game is kind of easy to go fast, especially on the heavier classes. I don't know if that's
Right.
necessarily a bad thing, but he was going light, trying to disc jump, abuse the terrain, and he loved it.
So let me ask this, and I think that this is something that I feel like is the case. And again, I don't know the devs' plans for introducing new players to this. I'm sure they have them because this is something that's common throughout Tribes' 30-year history, right? Is how do we introduce a new player and get them caught up to speed, because it's a tough game, and it's hard to understand. But even something like in TA or T3, having spin fusers, or like having 3 different on each class, and the spin fusers be different between the classes. Do you think that is what's confusing to them, or do you think just a projectile weapon is confusing to them because games these days really don't have projectile weapons?
Yeah, well, with the new players I was introducing, I was telling them your spin fuse is like your bread and butter. Try to work with that. The other stuff is complementary to it. That does need to be like spelled out in game, in some way or shape or form. Either just highlighting how useful it's going to be, or I don't really know.
Which actually goes back to, as I think about it more, of like when you have in Tribes of Sin, like an unlock model, right? Where you start the game with a base class with base weapons, and you have to progress and unlock different guns. It forces you to actually understand the weapons that you're using, right? Right now, I totally get how when you pull up an inventory and you have all of that to select, you have 3 different weapon slots, and at least 3 different weapons that you can choose, 5 different perks, 4 different packs or whatever. That can be a lot. So I don't think that that's how the game. I'm assuming that that's not how the game is going to ship, right? I have to assume that
like a customization shock with that.
Yeah, right. There's so much to do, which can be fun, right, to experiment, but it's also, you run into the realm of where it's overwhelming. And I don't think that a Tribes game, already the movement behind it, right, and the CTF game mode is already overwhelming. So they definitely, I do think, need to address something with how weapons and how classes are presented to fresh players, for sure. But do you think that the game mode itself, a CTF game mode, is going to be something that new players can get a hold of? And do you think that the movement was easy for, like, I think you said one of your friends was actually moving pretty fast, right? But with a heavy class, which was confusing a little bit. But do you think the movement itself is easy enough where the confusion just lies with the weapons?
I think the movement itself is pretty intuitive once you understand, and especially CTF, it's hard to complicate it.
Okay.
There were a lot of things that people were frustrated in the playtest. The only thing I was really frustrated with was running into players that were just obsessed with llama grabbing when other people were practicing routes.
Welcome to Tribes.
I thought it was hilarious and frustrating. But there are a lot of like things that were rough around the edges. I was so excited. We were focusing on refining them on movement with the playtest and whatnot. I'm hoping, anyways. But
yeah,
I do think that the CTF was straightforward.
I think there's 2 things here that can help with the new user side. One, like what you were saying with like classes, like I do also expect there to be default classes that you could pick from, right? You got your, Tribes 2 actually had this. You had your 3 lights, your 3 mediums, your 3 heavies. They gave you predetermined setups, whether one was called sniper, one was called assault, right? And if you wanted to refine them to be something else and you change through your number pad, you could. Now, I'm not saying do a 1-to-1 system there, but it should be very simple. Like, here is your default 3 classes. Here's your light capping loadout. And it's the best capping loadout you can give at the time. And then for the other classes. But as you learn the game more, you can customize it and try new things or what have you. The other thing I think is the game mode side that I truly think something like a ski racing would be really cool to help people learn the mechanic of skiing that isn't in a battlefield, that you're distracted by people shooting at you, or there's a flag icon and notifications saying someone's got your flag. Like instead, it's like you would in traditional skiing, where you have to fly through flags and go through things. And now you could do a time trial and you could judge yourself based off of your previous records. I did this in 45 seconds. Let me see if I can do it in 43. And then you can compare yourself to your friends. And now people aren't even playing the game that we see it as is with CTF, but maybe they're just simply trying to chase their own personal record, or they're trying to say, hey, Hot Rod, I'm challenging you to a ski race. Let's see who can get the fastest time. That's fun as fuck. And there's probably some ways that you can add like a shooting mechanic to it, where you have to hit targets on your way and such. And so you can learn how to aim when you're flying through the map. I think game modes and we were saying earlier with maps, can really, really dictate how people digest this game versus what we've been taught since day one of Tribes, which is throw everybody onto a battlefield, let everybody die 20 times plus, and try to capture a flag.
I think game modes are a huge part of something to focus on because we've seen a lot of games that are like primarily multiplayer focused, like StarCraft. There's another that escaped me just now, but that game developed a co-op mode where you and a couple friends could try to do a PvE objective. I think that's something that could be explored. Well, like we want to be really into the multiplayer competitive aspect, but I think you could do a lot of things with vehicles, base assaults, maybe even full out campaigns. Like there needs to be more behind that, of course, but there's so much that you can do with this IP and the novelty of the mechanics and movement that once we've got like a bit of traction and player base, and there's like modding support, community modding is like the one thing I really hope that Prophecy clings to. There's so much you can do with this game that will be so much fun.
Yeah, I agree. I could talk with you for hours on this. I feel like this is a good angle of the show, which maybe the next one we focus more on the new user experience, which I already have some people in mind. I do have to say, as we leave you here, we have one more guest. Your name is Insane Chaos, and I know Hot Rod's bid is yes here. Should we bring someone from ACD in here or not?
I don't actually know anything about ACD. I didn't get involved with
Yep, you know about Tau though, don't you?
I have no idea. That was brand new to me.
But this is perfect. You get to decide on an innocent way if we bring someone from ACD in here or not.
Bring in ACD. I want to hear people trash on them. I have no other opinions on that.
All right. So I've been promised by ACD that they will be mature enough. If not, there's an easy way to get them out. But we're gonna aim to bring in someone from ACD. Not two. We're bringing one. And we're gonna see how it goes. We can let them maybe defend their position of ACD.
They don't have a defense. They can't.
Well, we can give them a shot. And
we'll give them a shot.
We'll see what they have to say. And if there's too much, if it's too questionable, we'll get them out of here. But let's bring it in. Let's end the show with the one and only ACD Tubes.
Tubes.
Yes, hello, ACD on top.
What's up, bro?
It's right off the bat. Happy to bring you in here.
Look,
I trust your word, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Look, there was some slander earlier. I have to at least be able to defend my honor a little bit. I just don't believe HotRodRe's assertions about all these people clamoring for Tau back on top. Where's Tau been these past 10 years, HotRodRe?
What do you mean, where has Tau been? We've been building muscles and building bank accounts. Where's ACD been?
ACD's been doing the same. I mean,
how do you be on top?
I see a lot of people. Sorry,
go ahead. You go ahead.
No,
you go ahead. You brought you up. You talk shit. Tubes, we once played you in Tribes Ascend, and you made fun of me because I was a low level, and then you proceeded to explain to your team why are we playing this Tau team because all we're doing is sitting in spectator mode.
Tubes, I'm expecting more out of you here. Come on, you got to defend your position.
No, I just got demolished. I didn't expect Hot Rod to have that recollection of
I'm not like 80 years old,
history.
bro. You think my brain is already rotting now? What's going on?
I do.
We're still
I
on
do.
top.
Look,
Tau is still on top.
People are saying Tau has been there. Tau is here. I don't see any Tau members. Everybody's rocking the ACD
Look up,
tag.
bro. Look up.
Hot Rod, Tubes, can we have a Tau versus ACD match in Tribes 3?
Yeah,
absolutely. No, ACD has a 14 to 18 man roster, I would say. We have Ricky, we have Altamore, we have me, we have P, we have AB, we have the real Bort.
Oh man,
we're ready to go at any time and any place.
Okay,
all right.
So I already have a plan to have a draft tournament sometime in the early phase of Tribes 3. But now I have a second goal in my position in this community, and that's to host the next iteration. What I think is Reddit versus 4chan, but it's Tau versus ACD. and we will broadcast it, and we will throw the gauntlet down, and we will see who is truly on top. Whoever wins
we
will be
there.
forever known on top.
Yep. Pack your lunch.
Man.
Let's
All
talk
right.
about the actual video game. I did Pinky.
Okay,
on
we
that,
can
but I would.
go ahead. Do you have
All right.
comments? Do you want to say something about the game? Go ahead.
I do. I liked it. It's a fun video game. People are getting very worked up, and I was just arguing about someone in the Discord. So like everybody wants there to be a comp community.
Yep.
A comp community is the way for the company to make money. People are like, well, you know, if the company is pushing for the comp community, then it's not a real comp community, and we should disregard it.
Okay, hold on. Let me dissect that a second. So, I don't know if I think a lot of people are hoping for a comp community just because CTF comp is super fun, right? And Tribes does it better than any other game. I would say Titanfall's probably a close second, but like Tribes does it the best, right? Goat of CTF, and it's super fun to play. Maybe not the most fun to watch, and it takes talented production and talented casters to make that happen. But let's go to the latter half of what you were saying. Are you saying that if the competitive community is uplifted or held up by the actual devs of the game, then it is not a true competitive community? Is that what you said?
I don't agree with that, but I think there's a lot of people that feel that way because T2, T1, TV, TAA, all those comp communities were primarily community driven. They aren't anymore because broadcast video games is a comp scene is worth money. If we want to have tribes that we can play, there's a company that is building this game. They're going to want to make money off that comp community. That's not wrong. And that scene's going to exist from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the publisher and their direction and all that. Like, if the company is trying to go down like this really strict like road of esports, let's just say Overwatch League, for example, right? They had really strong ambitions to make the game an esport versus like, like even like Quake or something. Like, there's a lot of still community tournaments going on that you can follow and be a part of, and they're not hard on their licensing. Super Smash Brothers right now, getting a license to run a Super Smash Brothers tournament is a nightmare, right? And you'll get shut down in a second. Whereas like Rocket League is very open to it. So every publisher approaches it differently. My hunch and hope is that Prophecy looks at it and says, here, community, create what you want. We'll support it in a secondary way, whether it's like we'll throw some bones at it, or we'll help promote it. But my hunch and hope is that they want the community to build what they want. They're saying that about the game itself. And with that, they're also saying, community, build your own comp scene. Now, if this game gets a lot of legs, I could see the publisher coming in and saying, hey, let's do something big. Let's glue our hips to the community and just say, let's launch a $100,000 tournament or something, right? But from the get-go, I think the community is going to decide how Tribes is going to be as a competitive title. That's my take.
I think this is a good topic, and I kind of want to switch. I want to switch it, Tubes, and kind of ask you this question again, because maybe this is where the community or whatever you're hearing this from is coming from. And I have my own position on this, but I want to know yours. If the devs introduce an in-game ranked system to Tribes 3, does that help or does that hurt the competitive community?
I think it helps. And the reason I was postulating that theory earlier is because people want it to be wholly organic. They want it to be all community. That's just not how the system works anymore. So if you ever want this game to have a large competitive community, there needs to be a button on the front page, ranked queue, 5v5. People think like, well, it's not. And that's what I was talking about earlier. People think it's not real ranked if there is that button.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying more so ranked versus actually supporting the competitive scene, which is, I think that's a great discussion topic. And APC, we should probably have a larger space kind of specifically on that, because I have my own viewpoints and we can bring data and success stories to
exactly.
that. But yeah, that's a super good topic.
Yeah, I think so the show as a whole, I was planning it to be just a one-off. At least in the beginning, I had no plan to do anything beyond it. It's let's just see how it goes. Let's have some fun if other people like it, if there's feedback, and if there's thoughts like this where like, no, we got to go further, but we don't have the time today to do it, then let's freaking do it. I want to do a European version of this. It's not fair that the Europeans are sleeping. I want to give them something too, and I have a couple people on the EU side that already said, hey, I'm willing to help. So these are community initiatives. We're not spending money, making money on this. It's just pure fun. Which, bringing Tubes, I know you DM'd me and all. I was like, I don't know if I could do it. You're a brand risk. I didn't say that, but I'm like, we all know what this could turn into. But in all fun, like, I'm happy that you pushed me to get in here, get you in here, and I'm happy that we brought
I
you.
appreciate
So,
taking the brand risk, APC.
I always liked you, Tubes.
We
and I
love
missed you.
tribes.
I know you do. Dude. When I was looking at this 2014 QuakeCon badge, I was like, that was ACD day. I met ACD at QuakeCon.
Let's go.
But we're gonna kick you out of here for now, Tubes. Maybe we bring you on as a guest. How spicy would that be? But I do want to see the Tau versus ACD. See you, man.
Fight me at LAN. I'll see you there.
Let's go, bro.
Man. That was awesome. Thanks,
Later.
Tubes. I earned a lot of respect from Tubes right there, and I hope others see that. Yeah, Tubes is a little troll in chat sometimes, but he loves the game. He's booling with us. He's having fun. He brings a little flavor to the scene. All right, I have some takeaways. We planned the show to be 90 minutes. We're a little past that. We're getting close to the 2-hour mark, but it's been fun. I think we've had some fun topics, and we went in some tangents. I don't know, Hot Rod. What are you thinking? Do we do this again? Do you want to be a co-host again? Do you hate the things that were said by some people?
If I'm allowed, right? No, I don't. I think everybody's opinion. I think everybody that we brought on was valuable in every which way, right? We can definitely spice up the guest list if we want to bring a little bit more drama here, but maybe we tease that a little bit more, and we get all of the Proj and Stork haters in chat to show up for that one. But that'll be fun. But dude, it was a blast talking about everything. We got to see some skins today. We just got to dream about what is coming in the future. And I think that it's great during these breaks in the playtest to actually give people a little bit of content and get everybody's brain on the same wavelengths regarding what's going to happen with this game.
Yeah, no, 100%. I truly wish we could just say, all right, let's get into the game and play right now, but that's not the fact or the world that we live in today. So this kind of content in between playtest is the kind of stuff I want to provide. And even during the live service of the game, hopefully we could build something that people look forward to year or week over week, not year. That'd be slow. I also don't want to take away from Doc Matrix and Stowaway. Shout out to those guys who put on the best content for the podcast, talk show style with Behind the Blue Plate. And if they come back, if they want to be involved, dude, the crown goes back to them, right? They
love to talk to them again.
Build something great. But I do want to wrap this up. I know this is beyond time. Again, our production, Cairo, thank you so much. I know you have to go run off to DreamHack right after this. So appreciate you making the time before you get back to work in the real side. And Boomstick again for the graphics. Just if you see them in chat, you see them in game, just know that they're a big monumental piece of the community and what we're trying to build. And then future topics. If people have any feedback for me, just like with the game, I'm open to it. You can DM me, you can message me, we could talk about it. I'm actually thinking about let's go into voice chat after this, if HotRod, if you're open to it, and we could just talk to people outside of the stream. So the Tribes 3 Discord, if anyone's on it, we'll hop on to there. But this has been a blast. I can ramble forever. I actually want to talk about some of the things that we brought up, but I have to just say goodbye and see you next time. So last words, HotRod, before we hit the sign off button.
Appreciate the invite. Appreciate you putting this all together, man. Had a blast.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you production. Thank you HotRod for being by my side, and our guests for joining and making the time. Until next time, folks. See you later.